Hey, what's up, geeks? So, in this video, we're going to cover some of the basics of JavaScript. I'm going to run you through variables, data types, operations, expressions, etc. And this may be a simple video, but these are things you definitely need to know and then know how to use within your applications. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean out this file. Okay, cool. So this isn't going to be a fancy video at all. The first thing I'm going to cover is variables. Now, variables are containers within our application. So what does that mean? Variables store information, they store values. For example, you can have a variable like name and set it equal to my name. So the name itself is a variable. If I go ahead and pass that in, name, refresh, as you can see, now Darron is showing. So what you want to think of variables, you want to think of variables as containers. They have some kind of value. They're equal to some kind of value. Also, there's three types of variables within JavaScript. There is let, there is const, call this full name, and there's also var. Let's get last name. Now, this is the difference. I'm going to go over the difference of each one of these variables. So first, let's cover const. So constant variables are variables that can never be changed. Once the variable is set equal to another value, that's its value forever. So for example, if I go ahead and I just put full name, set it equal to Mike, see I'm getting an error. And if I read this error, it's going to say attempt to assign a constant, a readable variable. Full name is a constant. Basically, let me know you cannot change the value of a constant. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. We try the same thing with our first name. Say Mike. Save. And as you can see, now we have Mike. So we can change the value of let's. Let's try the same thing with our last name. Johnson. Mike Johnson. So you can see that when we use let or the var variable type, we can update the value whenever we want to. So what's the biggest difference between let and var? Well, the biggest difference is hoisting. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create a if statement. If full name, this is just a condition, you don't have to worry about that, is equal to Mike Johnson. We're going to do this. So I'm going to attempt to get the first name. Well, as you can see, the first name already is here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'm going to paste first name in just like that. So as you can see, our first name exists within our if condition. If I try to reference the full name, the first name, See, I'm getting an error. First name is not defined. And that happens because of hoisting. So what is hoisting? Hoisting, it basically, it brings your value to the highest coding block. Right now, our if statement is a coding block. Right now, the first name only exists within this coding block. But if we go ahead and update this to, remove this right here, we go ahead and we update that to our first name to a var, you can see that the variable is initialized, but it's not used. We go ahead, we can move this. We can actually access our first name. Oh, right here. There we go. So first name. Our first name, basically we can access this value from outside our condition. You can see we're not getting anything returned from that variable. If we go ahead and we make this a let, see it no longer exists. We're getting this error. We update this to a var, then it's a global variable. It's a global accessible variable. So that's the biggest difference between a const and let. And the reason you would prefer to use a let is because it's easier to control. Let, you know it exists within what condition and coding block. You don't want to make your variables global. It's not a best practice. Var is actually a practice that's no longer used in JavaScript, and now people use let or var. So that's all you need to know regarding that. So we'll go ahead and update this back to first name equals to run and last name. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover is the next thing we're going to cover is data types. So data types in JavaScript, all you need to know is that there's three basic data types. You have a Boolean, you have a string, and you have a number type. Other programming languages have various different types. JavaScript simplifies things into just three. Now, depending on who you talk to, that can be a problem, but you shouldn't worry about that for this series. So anyways, the way you reference a different data type, we have our number data type. So I can say number, this value equal to 7. 7 is a data type. You can say let Boolean equal false. Booleans can only be true or false, and also a string. So string. This can only be a string. String is anything that's within quotations. So I'm gonna hit this a little bit. I'll say variables. A new line. Worry about that another time. basically, let's see. Okay, there we have our new line. So now I'm going to go ahead and add our data types. Yeah. I'm going to style this a little bit. Style sheet. Do the same thing for our data type. All right, so now I'm going to plug in our data types that we just created. So I'm going to reference our number, our Boolean, and our string. Okay. So as you can see, now we have our variables all right here. And we also have our data types. Boolean, you're not able to see the Boolean right now, but I'm going to go ahead and just add Boolean so it's more readable. Basically, yeah, those are our three data types. Now, after data types, now we're going to go over how you can use quotations within strings. So this may sound a little confusing, but as you can see right now, we're using quotations. These are called single quotes. But for this example, we're going to use double quotes. So say const quote one. So first example is going to be single quotes. Hello there. Quote 2. The double quotes. Hello there again. And next, I'm going to combine. So I'm going to say string with quote. Now, if I go ahead and I'll say I love hanging out on Fridays. It's telling me that I can make this a single quote, right? I'm not going to do that. Go ahead and pass that in, and you can see that warning goes away. And that's because in order for us to use quotes within quotes, we have to use double quotes. If we try to go ahead and add that to here, if I update this string to single quotes, and this part to a single quote, it won't work. It literally won't work. You'll get some kind of error, as you can see. If you plan on using quotes within quotes, make sure you always use double quotes. for this. Okay. Now on to the next one. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to do shorthand variables. I rarely use this in the professional world, but some companies actually do this. Some developers actually do this, but it's really up to you. The shorthand variables is a way to assign multiple variables at once. So I'm going to go ahead and just create 3 random variables and you'll see. So I can say let, instead of saying let lion equal lion, and let tiger. Instead of doing this, I can just go ahead and say move this let. Now I have 2 variables. Now if I go ahead and I just try to print these out, gotta go ahead. It's lion. Let's say lion. X. Tiger. As you can see, it's printing out perfectly the way we want it to. We didn't even need this. Basically, that's how you do shorthand variables. Like I said, most companies don't do this, but it's up to the developer. Anybody can choose. Anybody can code the way they want to code. That's why it exists. Now, the next thing we're going to go ahead and cover is, I'm going to go ahead and bring scroll view because I think this is pretty long. See. Okay, now it's looking good. Okay, so anyways, the next thing we're going to cover is arrays. Now, arrays is a data type that you definitely want to know. In the last video, we covered objects and how objects represent real life elements like myself, laptop, etc., with a collection of properties. Now, in this example, we're going to reference arrays. So, go ahead and show you this. So, now, arrays, you can have an array basically with anything in it. An array is basically a list of data. And this is something you're going to use throughout your software development career. So this is something you definitely want to know about. And you're going to be mutating data, bringing in data, getting data shown on the screen. I promise you it's going to be in an array format more times than not. So let's go ahead and just create an array. Now, the way you create an array, you can use any kind of variable you want. Let constant var. We're going to use let. I'm going to call this animals. So right now we have a list of animals. Now, the way that you actually the way you add values to your array, you can just go ahead and make a string. And like I said, you can put like pig in there, then add a comma, place in there a chicken, and a sheep. Right now we have 3 values within our array. I'm going to print these values out on the screen right now. Don't really worry about how I'm actually getting this on the screen. I just want you to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm going to take our animals, map through our animals. Animal. I'm getting an error that's basically saying I need to add an index. So let's see, key index. If you want to get familiar with React Native, I do have a membership for React Native, FYI, and I also do live videos on Sundays. So just check that out if you want to get more familiar with React Native. But basically, as you can see now within our array, we're getting all of our animals to show. Now, this isn't the only way that you can get array values on the screen. Now, arrays, they come with these indexes behind the scene. So if you check this out, we have pig, chicken, and sheep. We got 3 items. Well, the first item within animals has a 0 index. The second item is followed by the 1 index, and as you guessed it, the third item is followed by the 2 index, the second index. So just to prove that, I'm going to get these printed on our screen. If I go ahead and I say animals, I reference the first index, 0 index, pig is going to print out, as you can see. And if we do the same thing, X animals, 1, 2, we're going to get pig, sheep, and chicken to show again. Now I can actually change the value of this array index right now. So if I go ahead, I can change the value up here. I can say animals dot 2, which is sheep. I'm going to set this equal to horse. Now I save this. You can see now it shows array's third item as a horse. And then also I can add items to our array. So right now we have 0, 1, 2. We don't have a third index or a fourth. So if I go ahead and I say animals 3 is equal to hawk. And I wanted to get this printed on the screen. Say animals 3. See, now hawk shows on the screen. And also when we loop through it, it also added a hawk to our loop. So this is basically how you get array values to show on your screen and how you can update those values of your array. Now that we covered arrays, we're going to cover expressions. What are expressions? Expressions are basically what we've been doing right now. As you can see, we have quote 1 is equal to hello there. This entire row, this entire thing is an expression. Same thing for these. This is called an expression. So I'll go ahead, I'm going to just copy, I'll just create a variable called expression. This is an expression. Okay, so I'm going to pass in our expression. This is an expression. What we have right here, this is an expression. Go ahead and just say let me go ahead and see what's the best way to do this. So go ahead and copy what we have here. I'm going to set this here. So yes, this is an expression. This is considered an expression. Constant expression is equal to expression. And then also we can combine expressions using two different values. So let me go ahead and say 36. I'll say const 36 is equal to 9 times 4. This is also an expression. Go ahead and I add this, say text 9 times 4 is equal to 36. As you can see, that's an expression. And we can go even a step further. We can go ahead and say the name. We could say plus Brown, author, teacher, name. Yes, and I can go ahead, copy all of this. Yes, you can see this equals Darron Brown. Teacher's name is equal to Brown. So that's how you do expressions with strings and numbers. Now, we've already covered a few different operators in this example. We covered addition and multiplication. But there's a lot of cases where you want to find out if a value is greater than or equal to a number. So for operators, you're going to reference the stated equal to or less than. So I'll say const let's say is correct. Now, if 9, we're going to have a condition, we're going to have an operator here. So we're going to say if 9 is greater than 5, and the value is going to be 9 is greater than 5, then I'm going to say this is correct. Okay. Now, actually, if when you have a double operand, I can't remember how you say that. When you have double, that basically says that if this is equal. Now, if I were to put single, double quotes, now I have to add another condition. Say this is in. Operators. That's what you need to know about operators. Operators is when you do some kind of calculation such as this, greater than or equal to, or any kind of multiplication. Those are all different types of operators that you use within an application. Now, there's also more arithmetic operators as well that we have not covered, such as, say, subtraction. So I'll just say const subtraction. 5 minus 1. Go ahead and say subtraction. Expect that value to be 4. It is 4, as you can see. We have typo subtraction. Okay, multiplication. This will be 40. Yes, and division. Divided by 3, we expect this to be 10. Okay, so that's it for this video. In this video, we covered all the basics of JavaScript. This may have been one of our least entertaining videos, and that's simply because the most important thing here is to understand the different types of how variables work, how data types work, and the different types of different types of information that you have within the application. Also the operations. This is something you're going to use every day as a JavaScript developer or any kind of software developer. You're going to use these tools every day. So it's nice to get familiar with it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.